Hello everyone and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please drop that like and subscribe. I hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend. I hope you guys have some nice plans to enjoy this, almost winter if you are in this northern hemisphere, or almost summer if you're in the southern one. Today I'm gonna try to make this a bit shorter. I think the key is to witness that TLT has crossed is very close to 94. So that's good. So we went all the way down to 90. We made a triple bottom, which is actually quite. So we did one at 86, we did one at 88, and now one at 90. I would classify all of these as very strong bottoms. The triple one in long time scales is actually quite good. The reason why we look here at the bond market is not because we invest in the bond market or because I invest in the bond market. It's because, in my view, there's no world where the bond market is collapsing and all the other ones are doing fine. See, all of these things are liquidity bonded. Our system is a debt-based system, which means that the most important debt on the planet cannot be collapsing. Otherwise, everything else eventually comes crashing down because everything is liquidity bonded, in case you guys didn't know. Now, the reason why I like crypto is because once you understand what central banks did in 2008 by debasing the currency, there's only two assets that really outperform the level of currency debasement and inflation, what you call the CPI, which is tech stocks and crypto. So that's why I invest in crypto and not in anything else. Now, bond market did very well. Stock market's pretty much stable. Bitcoin is above 97,300 at the time of this recording, basically trying to make the push again for 100K. And Ethereum is up almost 9% on the week, and basically been above 3,600 today, a little bit above, a little bit below. XRP is doing quite well. Once again, do I like XRP? No, I don't. I don't think it's a great project. I don't think it's managed very well. However, I want it to succeed. You see, we need to stop with this tribalism kind of attitude towards cryptos. Like, I don't need you to be destroyed for me to do very, very well. I don't need for you to fail for me to be happy. See what I mean? In my view, if all of us do very well, particularly when we have common enemies, like we had with the SEC, it's important that we are on the same team, globally speaking. Yes, then we can have our little clubs and so on. But if it's between our space and the others, we should always be in favor of our space. The more our coins, all of us, pump, the more eyes it attracts, the more legitimacy it attracts, the more money it attracts, the better we get off. So I don't see the point of infighting all day long. If we are all in the same, it's like, let's say, imagine the game of basketball, right? You have your own teams, but you want basketball itself to succeed. If you're a basketball player, see what I mean? You want the entire NBA to do very well. But of course, then you want your team to win. It's the same concept. In terms of where we are in the cycle right now, we are in the most dangerous part of the cycle. And I know that I've said this before, but I really need to talk about this because I think it's very, very important. So, for example, the Pulsechain ecosystem is starting to show very good signs of life. So we had 7 months to accumulate at extremely low prices. If you had done so, you'd be already up 3-4x in many cases. In some coins, it'd be up 10-15x by now. But the point is, the bear market is very easy. Bear market is by far the easiest. People get this, completely wrong. You see, when you're in the year of the bear market, so as you know, you guys have the bear market, you have the recovery year, you have the halvening and the bull market, and then you have the euphoria, which is the fourth year, which then terminates into a beginnings of a crash that prolongs into the bear market. You see, the bear market is the easiest. Okay, is Bitcoin down 60% plus? Okay, I will accumulate this set of cryptos that I like, that of course have fundamentals, good communities, blah, blah, blah. I will accumulate it as I can, once a week, twice a month, monthly. This month I can do more, this month I can do less, and you just, regardless of the price, you just buy it and buy it. Recovery year is a little bit like that until more or less Q4. Then it becomes to jump a bit. Now, what you're looking at is, okay, every time that these cryptos that I like drop 30, 40, 50%, I throw bigger clips. So instead of buying every week, I now buy once a month, but with a bigger shot every time there's a drop of 40%. Now we are in the dangerous part of the cycle. What does that mean? It's the dangerous part because you still have large corrections, but it's also at the same time, so you have large corrections on one side in short periods of time combined with big ramp ups in price. So what that means is, let's say you didn't have the courage to pull the trigger, right? And you see the coin that you wanted to put some money in go up 5x. Then you start thinking, oh my God, this thing went up 5x, I should have bought. I'm just going to wait for the 50% drop and then I'll go in, right? But then it does another 5x. All of a sudden, it did a 25x. You see, this is when people they don't understand how bad this is. If a coin did 25x and you didn't buy it, right? That means if it does another 4x, that's 100x. But if you get in at that moment in time, you only get the 4x. So it's the difference between turning €1,000 or $1,000 into $4,000, or the difference between turning $1,000 into $100,000. Massive difference. This is the mathematical part that most people actually don't pay much attention. They say, oh, this coin can go up 1,000-fold, but it already went up 100-fold. That means if you put $1,000 at that moment, you get $10,000. But the person who got in 100x before you, that person got $1 million, right? That's what it means. And the thing is, by the time that thing moves so quick, you feel desperate and you throw your biggest clip because you don't want to lose the next move. But that's the point where it drops 60% in 2 weeks, right? And now you feel like complete garbage. Now you're feeling completely depressed. And then you start seeing a lot of other coins moving. So what it's your incentive is, okay, I made a mistake here, but I can recover in another coin. So you sell 60% down and you go to another coin who just pumped and you make the same mistake. And then you say, oh my God, this is selling off again. And then you look at the coin that you were in and that coin is now up threefold. So if you'd stayed there, you'd be way up, and now you've lost 60% there, and now you're losing on this one as well. This happens at this stage of the market all the time. Chasing the plays, didn't have enough conviction in the bear market and the recovery year and the first 9 months of the bull market, if you will. And now you're trying to overcompensate for the things you didn't do. This is a big problem. The way that I do, because I also feel this, I also get this feeling sometimes. I'm not a perfect, or I'm not a machine. I also feel I also feel FOMO. What I do is the following. I look for certain coins under certain narratives that I think can succeed, and I look, are they still cheap? And if the answer is yes, okay, I'd throw a bigger clip into that one. That's what I've done, for example, with Boppy. Boppy very recently was at 600K when I got in, then momentarily went down below 600K, so I bought a bigger amount, and now my cost average is about 585K. Now the reason why Boppy sold off is because it had a massive run before, and because Hoppy, starting with an H, dropped from 140 million to very recently was around 55 million. Now people say, oh my God, 55 million from 140 is not great. Yeah, you see, the problem is, this is where people get it wrong. Hoppy went to 80 million, dropped all the way to 14 million, went to 140 million in like 2 weeks. That's a 10x, by the way. And then it sold off to 55 million, and now it's around 70 million. Because Boppy is a play in Hoppy as the leader, then Boppy gets smashed more than Hoppy, right? But at the very recent time period, Boppy was below 100K market cap, and now it's still at 700, 800K. So what I'm trying to say is this: how do I know they're cheap? They are cheap because Hoppy, with an H, has almost as many holders as Andy. And Andy is at around 245 million market cap. The difference is like 20%. So Andy has like 20% more holders than Hoppy. And Telegram users keep growing. And Pepe, the spear of the entire Mad Fury character, is actually going up. Actually, it went up from 2 billion market cap very recently to 9 billion market cap without Andy or Hoppy really catching that train yet, which means there's a delay, in my view, between Pepe and Andy in particular, but also from Andy to Hoppy. So to me, those things are actually quite cheap, but particularly Boppy is particularly cheap. So I'm willing to put a little bit more money on that one. See what I mean? Now, does that mean that I'm going to be completely right? Does that mean that you should copy and do the same thing? No. That means that I'm trying to look for value. I'm trying to look for things that are cheap, things with strong communities, things with growing fundamentals. What are the fundamentals of Hoppy, for example, with an H? Hoppy is a derivative of the Pepe and Mad Fury characters. Okay, check. It has a place in the narrative. Number one. Is Pepe going up? Yes. Okay, good. Number two, are its users, this is the most important one, are its users or its holders going up? Yes. Good. Is there Telegram members? The community is active? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so the fundamentals are good, which means the price is still not yet reflecting the fundamentals. Same thing with Pulsechain. Pulsechain has excellent technology, has a deflationary nature, has no VCs, has a founder that buys his own coins, as copies of Ethereum, of Ethereum coins, right? Etc., etc., etc. Those are all the fundamentals that the price then afterwards reflects the fundamentals. So this is what I'm trying to say. Price happens. So fundamentals happen here on, let's say, 0, and the price happens at 2. So there's a gap between the 0 and the 2. And people like me, completely degenerates who spend here all their time that they have, we are looking for those things where the fundamentals, where there's a gap between the price and the fundamentals, because they will always follow it. So let me give you this example. Fundamentals of Bitcoin, besides the ones that everybody already knows. Brazil is just proposing a strategic asset reserve for Bitcoin. Hong Kong is removing taxes, crypto gain tax, for crypto, billionaires, and hedge funds. Those are fundamentals that will have an impact in the future, but you just don't see it right now. There's going to be a point where it's very obvious to everyone. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is, of course I see a meme coin in Solana doing a 300x in 10 days. Of course I saw that. But I know that for every one of those, there are 99.99999 coins that went up and 0 almost immediately. So do I want to play the game of, out of 10,000 coins, I'm going to pick the one that's going to do 300x in 3 days? Or am I going to stick to narratives which are proven in the cycle and then try to look for value when coins are cheap? You see, what I think is going to happen to Hoppy, I mean, this is purely my speculation, my opinion, not financial advice, it's just what I think. I think Hoppy one of these days will do like a 3x from 70 to 200 million plus. And then all of a sudden, everybody will love it. But this is the key. People should love Hoppy like I did at the million market cap, but they don't. But they will love it at 200 million market cap. What's the difference? Now it costs 200 more times to buy the same amount of coins. That's it. That's all it means. And one of the reasons why this part of the cycle is also difficult is because this is the time where people that come from the stock market, etc., are coming here. Now, these people don't understand 50% drops. They don't. Even with the zombie virus, in 2020. The more that the S&P drop was 34%. And basically within 6 months was back to all-time highs. They don't understand what an 80% drop is. Maybe some of the older ones who remember the tech bubble, but that's about it. Nobody can particularly, even the tech bubble took like 2 years to drop 80%. We're talking here dropping 80% in 3 days. Like these people, they can't take it. So they go to the influencers on YouTube, they fall for every little thing, they join every course, they join every mastermind. And what they're doing in those places is to learn how to lose their money even faster than if they just didn't. So it is painful for, if you want to call it, the first round of retail. But after this stage, you have the euphoria phase. The euphoria phase is when you have massive retail numbers coming in and everything that they buy goes up. So they all think, they all become convinced that they have a money printing machine in their pockets. And when they really feel and they start to play with leverage and doing all of this, we have the top of the market, and now we can have a bear market in which all of these people that join late 2024 and 2025 will feel pain for the first time. And for most of them, it's going to be the last time because they will run away from crypto forever. And most likely they will sell close to the bottom just to come back the next cycle again, and this time will be different. That's it. So in summary, am I trying to advise you to buy any coins? No. Am I trying to entice you to copy me? No. Am I selling you anything? No, there's nothing to sell here. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to warn people is recognize that, in my opinion, this is the most difficult part of the cycle. And chasing the incentives or the feeling or the anxiousness to chase coins will be stronger than ever. The doubts in your mind that you pick the wrong ones will be bigger than ever. And the prone to life-changing mistakes is bigger than ever as well. So to me, it makes more sense trying to find value where I can't find it, and deploy the assets in that context. And with that, thank you very much for your support, guys. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you the next one.